People often ask, why am I still poor? Why can't I become successful like others? The truth is hard, but it's simple. Poverty is not just about money. It starts in the mind. It's the way you think, the way you react, and the way you make choices every day. If you don't change your mindset, no amount of money will ever keep you rich. Poor people always focus on problems. Rich-minded people focus on possibilities. When something goes wrong, the poor-minded person says, see, life is unfair. The rich-minded person says, there must be a way to fix this. That difference in attitude decides everything. If you spend your life complaining, blaming others, or waiting for someone to save you, you'll stay stuck. No one is coming to make you rich. Not the government, not your boss, not luck. The only person who can change your life is you. The 2% who succeed take full responsibility. They don't waste time saying, I can't. They ask, how can I? Another reason people stay poor is fear of risk, fear of failure, fear of trying something new. Many people have good ideas but never act on them. They keep waiting for the perfect time, but the perfect time never comes. The rich-minded person starts anyway. They make mistakes, learn, and keep moving forward. Poor-minded people stay in the same place thinking, what if it doesn't work? The successful say, what if it does? Your circle matters too. Poor-minded people spend time with others who complain, gossip, and think small. They talk more than they act. But rich-minded people surround themselves with dreamers, doers, and learners. They talk about growth, not problems. You become like the people you spend time with, so choose your circle wisely. Poor people often chase quick money, easy jobs, easy profits, easy shortcuts. But success doesn't come easy. It comes from building skills, learning, and improving yourself every single day. Poor-minded people stop learning once school ends. Rich-minded people never stop learning. They read, they ask, they fail, and they grow. Another big difference is patience. Poor-minded people want results now. They plant a seed today and expect fruit tomorrow. When it doesn't happen, they quit. The rich-minded person plants and waters every day, knowing the results will come in time. Success is a process, not an event. If you want to stop being poor, stop thinking poor. Stop living in excuses. Stop blaming luck, the system, or your background. Success doesn't care where you start. It cares how much you grow. The world rewards those who take action, not those who wait. So ask yourself, are you living poor or thinking poor? Change your mind and your life will follow. Don't wait for opportunity, create it. Don't hope for change, become the change. That's the only way out of poverty. Not just in your wallet, but in your mind. Poverty begins long before the absence of money. It begins in the mind. The way a person thinks shapes the life they live. If someone believes they are limited, unlucky, or incapable, they've already set invisible boundaries around their future. A poor mindset focuses on what's missing, time, money, connections, instead of recognizing what's possible. This mindset quietly kills ambition because when you believe you can't, you won't even try. Every successful person starts by changing the way they think because thoughts become actions and actions become results. When someone with a poor mindset faces a problem, their first reaction is to complain or blame. They'll say, life is unfair, or people like me never succeed. But someone with a rich mindset faces the same problem and thinks, how can I fix this? They search for solutions instead of excuses. That small difference in attitude creates two very different lives. Problems will always exist, but your response determines whether they become walls or doors. Another thing about poor thinking is that it often depends on luck. People wait for the right opportunity, the right connection, or a miracle to appear, but successful people don't wait for chances, they create them. They understand that effort builds luck. The harder you work, the more doors you find open. The poor-minded person might say, I'll start when I have more time, or I'll try when I have money. But time and money never come to those who wait. They come to those who take the first step with what they already have. It's also common for people with a poor mindset to fear change. They cling to what's comfortable, even when it doesn't serve them. They'll stay in a job they hate, in a routine that leads nowhere, because they're afraid of the unknown. But nothing grows in comfort. If you want to break free from poverty, mental or financial, you must be willing to step into discomfort. Growth begins where comfort ends. The difference between a person who stays poor and a person who grows rich is often the courage to take that first uncomfortable step. A rich mindset also believes in learning. Many people stop learning once school ends, thinking education is over. But in reality, life itself is a classroom. Every failure, every mistake, every challenge teaches something valuable. Poor-minded people see failure as proof they're not good enough. Rich-minded people see it as part of the process. They learn, adjust, and improve until they succeed. Lastly, mindset determines persistence. Poor-minded people give up when results don't come quickly. They expect instant success, and when it doesn't happen, they quit. But the rich-minded person understands that success takes time. It's built brick by brick, day by day. They stay patient, focused, and consistent. Changing your mindset is the first and most important step towards success. The moment you stop thinking poor, you stop living poor. Once your mind starts believing in growth, effort, and persistence, everything in your life begins to shift. Complaining is one of the biggest habits that keep people stuck where they are. It's easy to point fingers at the economy, the government, or circumstances and say, that's why I can't succeed. But every time you complain, you give away your power. You tell yourself that you have no control over your life. The truth is, complaining doesn't solve problems. Action does. Successful people understand this deeply. They don't waste time explaining why something can't be done. They spend that same energy finding a way to make it happen. When you stop complaining and start acting, your entire outlook changes. You begin to see that no one is coming to save you. Not luck, not your boss, not even family. It's your life, and your results depend on your decisions. That realization is powerful because it forces you to take ownership. People who stay poor often live as victims of their situation. They say things like, it's not my fault, or life isn't fair. But those who succeed know that fairness doesn't matter. Effort does. The world rewards those who move, not those who moan. Taking action doesn't always mean you'll get it right. In fact, you'll probably fail more times than you expect. But failure after action is always better than comfort without progress. Every step forward teaches you something about the world, about your skills, and about yourself. Complaining teaches nothing. It only keeps your mind focused on what's wrong. When your thoughts live in negativity, your energy follows, and soon your life reflects that same pattern. But when you shift from talking to doing, things start to change. There's also a sense of discipline that grows when you replace complaints with action. You start to understand that progress doesn't happen overnight. It comes from daily effort, showing up even when you don't feel like it. People who complain often look for motivation first. People who act understand that motivation comes after movement. Once you see small results, that energy pushes you forward naturally. Another truth is that complaining attracts other complainers. It creates a circle of people who feed off each other's frustration. Before long, you're surrounded by negativity, and that makes it even harder to see solutions. But when you act, when you take small steps, you attract people who do the same. You start connecting with doers, learners, and builders, the kind of people who move forward regardless of difficulty. Your environment changes because you changed first. Action also builds confidence. When you face challenges and take control, you begin to trust yourself more. You realize that even when things go wrong, you have the ability to handle them. That self-trust is priceless. It makes you resilient. People who act grow stronger with every setback, while those who complain grow weaker with every excuse. If you want a better life, stop explaining why it's hard. Everyone has challenges. The only difference is how you deal with them. Replace complaints with commitment. Replace fear with movement. Every time you act instead of complain, you take one step closer to the life you want and one step further from the excuses that keep you poor. Fear is one of the main reasons most people stay poor. It's not the lack of opportunity or talent that holds them back. It's the fear of taking risks, the fear of failing, and the fear of what others might think. This fear quietly steals dreams. It keeps people in the same place year after year, stuck in comfort zones that offer no growth. They convince themselves they're being careful, when in reality, they're just scared to try. Every successful person has felt fear, but they act anyway. They understand that courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to move forward despite it. People who fear failure never give themselves a chance to learn. They want guarantees before taking a step, but life doesn't work that way. The path to success is never certain. The 2% who succeed are those who try, fail, learn, and keep trying until they get it right. The 98% who don't succeed keep waiting for a moment when the risk feels safe, and that moment never comes. Fear of failure also makes people care too much about opinions. They worry about being judged or laughed at. This is why many dreams die before they even start. You might have an idea, a plan, or a vision, but the moment you think, what will people say, you've already limited yourself. The truth is, people will always have opinions, whether you succeed or fail. But none of those opinions will pay your bills or build your future. You have to decide whose voice matters more, the one inside your head or the ones outside. Fear also disguises itself as logic. People say things like, "It's too risky," "It's not the right time," or "I'll start next year." These sound reasonable, but they're excuses dressed as caution. There is never a perfect time to start. Every success story began with uncertainty. People who win in life understand that mistakes are part of the process. Every failure is a lesson. Every setback is a test. And every test prepares you for the next step. Those who are afraid to fail never get to experience this growth. The real danger isn't in failing. It's in never trying. Failure may hurt for a while, but regret lasts forever. It's better to fall a few times than to live your entire life wondering, what if? Failure teaches you what books and advice never can. It teaches resilience, adaptability, and humility. These are the qualities that build success. The only way to overcome fear is through action. The more you face your fears, the smaller they become. You realize most of what you were afraid of was only in your head. Fear loses its power when you move forward anyway. If you want to stop being poor, stop letting fear make your decisions. Every time you choose safety over growth, you trade your future for comfort. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be brave enough to begin. Success belongs to those who act while others hesitate. The people you spend time with shape who you become. Your circle can either lift you up or pull you down. If you surround yourself with people who complain, gossip, and think small, you'll eventually start doing the same without realizing it. You'll adopt their habits, their mindset, and their limits. But if your circle is full of doers, dreamers, and learners, you'll grow faster, think bigger, and see new possibilities. That's why choosing the right people is not just about friendship, it's about your future. Poor-minded people often stay poor because they stay around those who make them comfortable. They talk about problems instead of solutions, about people instead of ideas. Their conversations revolve around who failed, who succeeded, and who's to blame. It might feel good to fit in, but it doesn't take you anywhere. The truth is, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Growth happens when you challenge yourself, when the people around you inspire you to do more, learn more, and think differently. Success-minded people don't spend time arguing about luck or complaining about opportunities they didn't get. They focus on what they can build. They ask questions, share ideas, and learn from each other's experiences. They don't waste energy competing with friends. They push each other to rise together. That's the kind of environment that creates growth. A space where encouragement and accountability exist side by side. Your environment silently influences your behavior. If you spend time with people who quit easily, you'll start believing that giving up is normal. But if you spend time with those who persist no matter how hard it gets, you'll start believing that anything is possible. Human beings adapt to their surroundings. That's why choosing your circle is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. Sometimes breaking away from negative people isn't easy. They could be friends, relatives, or even coworkers. But if they constantly drag you down, make fun of your goals, or fill your mind with doubt, you have to step back, protect your energy. You can love people from a distance while focusing on building a better version of yourself. Remember, you can't grow in soil that refuses to nurture you. At the same time, don't just look for successful people. Look for growth-minded people. Success without humility can be dangerous. Surround yourself with people who not only win, but also share what they've learned. These are the people who will motivate you to become more, not just have more. They'll challenge your excuses and celebrate your progress. Your circle determines your standards. If you spend time with average thinkers, you'll start accepting average results. But if you spend time with those who chase excellence, you'll push yourself to do the same. Every great achievement starts with the right mindset, and the right mindset grows in the right company. So take a hard look at your circle. Ask yourself, do these people help me grow or hold me back? If you want to change your life, start by changing who you spend your time with. The right people won't just change your day, they'll change your destiny. Many people remain poor because they chase quick rewards instead of lasting growth. They want to get rich fast, find shortcuts, or make easy money without putting in real work. But success doesn't work that way. True success is built on patience, learning, and consistency. The people who achieve something meaningful are the ones who keep improving themselves even when no one is watching. They understand that success is not an event. It's a process that takes time, discipline, and a hunger to learn. A poor-minded person believes that education ends when school ends. They stop reading, stop asking questions, and stop learning new skills. They repeat the same habits year after year and expect a different result. That's why they stay stuck. The world keeps changing, but they don't. Meanwhile, successful people treat learning as a lifelong journey. They read books, watch lectures, listen to those with more experience, and apply what they learn. They know that every new skill increases their value and opens new doors. People who chase quick money often fall into traps. They get excited by trends, by get-rich-quick schemes, or by shortcuts that promise big results with little effort. But these paths rarely lead to real success. They might bring temporary gain, but they don't last. Real success comes from building something solid, something based on skill, effort, and persistence. When you learn and grow, your success becomes stable because it's built on your own ability, not on luck. Learning also builds confidence. When you know something deeply, a craft, a trade, or a business, you stop depending on others to create opportunities for you. You can make your own. People who never learn new things always feel limited because they rely on others for progress. Knowledge gives you freedom. The more you know, the more control you have over your future. That's why rich-minded people never stop learning, even after achieving success. They understand that the world doesn't stand still, so neither should they. Patience is another part of the learning process. Most people quit because they don't see results quickly. They plant a seed and want fruit the next day. But growth takes time. You can't rush it. The people who succeed are those who keep working quietly, learning, improving, and trusting the process. They don't get discouraged by slow progress because they know every small step counts. Success isn't built overnight, it's built every day. Another problem with chasing quick money is that it often leads to short-term thinking. People make decisions based on what feels easy now, not what's good for them later. They take jobs they hate for fast cash, avoid challenges that could teach them something, and never develop real skills. But those who focus on learning play the long game. They're not just thinking about today's reward, they're investing in tomorrow's growth. If you want to stop being poor, stop chasing speed, and start building substance. Learn something new every day. Read, practice, fail, and improve. Every skill you develop becomes a seed that will pay you for years to come. Remember, shortcuts may get you somewhere fast, but they rarely take you anywhere worth staying. Growth takes time, but it always lasts longer than luck. Waiting for opportunity is one of the biggest reasons people stay poor. They sit back, hoping that one day something will happen, that a lucky break, a promotion, or a miracle will change their life. But opportunity doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who create it. The people who succeed aren't necessarily smarter or luckier. They're just willing to take initiative. They don't wait for doors to open. They build their own. When you take responsibility for your life, everything changes. You stop blaming the world, your past, or your circumstances. You realize that no one else is responsible for your success, not your parents, not your boss, not your country. It's entirely up to you. That shift in mindset is powerful. The moment you decide to take full control, you start seeing possibilities that were invisible before. You start noticing ways to improve, ways to grow, and ways to move forward. Creating your own opportunity doesn't always mean starting a business or inventing something new. Sometimes it simply means doing more than what's expected of you. It means using what you already have, your time, your energy, your skills to make something better. You don't need perfect conditions to begin. You need determination. Too many people wait for the right time to start, but the right time rarely comes. Those who succeed start anyway and figure it out as they go. Another mistake people make is believing they need to be fully ready before they act. They say, once I have more money, or once I know more, or once I feel confident, I'll start. But confidence comes after action, not before it. The first step is always the hardest because it's full of uncertainty. But once you take it, you gain clarity, experience, and courage. Every time you move, life rewards you with new information and new opportunities. When you take initiative, you also build momentum. Each small action leads to another. The people who succeed in life aren't waiting for big opportunities. They're building them from small ones. They use every chance to learn, to network, to create. They understand that effort compounds. What you do today might seem small, but it adds up over time, one step at a time, one risk at a time, one day at a time. That's how big dreams are built. Responsibility also brings freedom. When you stop expecting others to fix your problems, you gain control over your own destiny. You stop waiting and start creating. That's when life starts to move in your favor. The moment you start acting, new doors appear, not because luck changed, but because your mindset did. If you truly want to stop being poor, take ownership of your future, don't wait for someone to hand you a chance. Create it. Don't depend on luck. Depend on effort. Every step you take toward your goals creates opportunities that didn't exist before. Life rewards action. The sooner you realize that you are the author of your story, the sooner your story starts to change.